What is up, Need for Speed Racers? It is I, your wheelman, Alex Cornnut. We're here today with Copium 12. We're running the Porsche 911 GTS, the hardtop, not the convertible, on Colossus in A+. It is going to be a really hard week. This is a difficult track. It's very technical. There's a lot of places to make mistakes. There's lots of traffic that can get in the way. And honestly, we're going to skill issue all over the place. But after the nightmare that was 100 laps on Lakeside, I'm ready for something that's an actual race with a little bit of technicality and that doesn't have any off-road sections. I chose the Porsche this week because honestly there's a couple different ways you can build it. There's a few different engine options, and each engine paired with the transmission gives you different speeds. So really I think the crew's going to come together and they're going to formulate some specific builds to that track, and I really like it when we do that. So dig in, get involved with the crew. If you're not part of the Discord, it's time to turn up. It's time to download Discord on your phone or on your PlayStation or on your Xbox and get in here with us, because honestly it's a great way to communicate, a great way to make new friends, and it's how we're growing substantially, and it's where a lot of us are making just new relationships. And so come and kick it. The rules for Copium this week is you got to drive the Porsche 911 GTS, the hardtop, not the cabriolet, on Colossus. Grab a screenshot at the end of your race showing your name, the car, and your lap time. Submit that screenshot to me via Discord or via email, alexcornnut@gmail.com, and I will submit you and get you into the results. That's all you got to do. It's really easy. At the end of the week, we do a big reveal. I show everybody's positioning. I only show the times of those that won their splits. There's a lot of different winners because I have a lot of different splits, and it's just all a blast. And if your name is kind of complicated, chances are I'm going to butcher it, and we always have a good time with that as well. Let's dig into the build. Let's get the car going and just see what we can turn up with for Copium this week. I'm going to go over some of the intricacies that I ran into when I was playing with the car. Styling portion, I did that wrap myself. It's a little cringe, but I was fully committed once I started, so here we are. It's business in the front and straight party in the back. Anyway, for the performance, now guys, the engine that I think is the engine for this car, it's one that I have a build for originally. It is absolutely the 3.8 liter V6. It is the second from the last engine. 304 brake horsepower when you start. It is far and away the motor because it's got more torque than all of them. Our max torque on this build is 831. That's the top engine's 556. The reason that they are higher PI values is because currently we have got the a higher tier transmission in this one, but they're all built out to 8269. But this one's got the 7-speed. All the other builds had the 5-speed. So you'll see that that's got less, half. The only one that was even maybe a little close was the 2.9 liter V6, and that's because you can get like 4 more horsepower out of it. But is that really worth trading 300 foot-pounds of torque? I don't think so, but you guys do you. It'll tell you you're doing a better quarter mile, and that's with this transmission. Like I say, to get that build in there, you have to tier it down to a 5-speed. But for our build, we're using a 7-speed. I'm thinking the 3.8's where it's at, so we'll dig into it. For the parts, you are running Sport Bronze induction, Super Gold ECU, Super Gold fuel system, and Silver Pro exhaust. Now this is where you get to pick what you think is best, because there are the jury's still out on this one. We're not sure really what the best one is because it's unique. All right, so I'm going with the screw. The screw is mechanical. It gives you the most torque everywhere. It's very linear. It's just like boop, boop, and you have just torque all over the place. That's this build. It fits just fine. You can run the 20s. The 20s say it goes a little faster, but you're sacrificing about 16, 17 foot-pounds of torque. But the twins are going to have a way different power band. When they initiate that, it'll make the car feel less rowdy. So if you're having problems with the Porsche this week, you might slam in the twins and enjoy that. Apparently the Roots gives you a better quarter mile time and a better 0 to 60. I don't know how that's the case because the Screw is a better supercharger, and on paper in the game files they have the exact same performance boost. So the game's calculating something here that we can't see anywhere. Figure it out. So maybe do some testing, you guys. You have to take a little bit of power out if you want to get the single turbo in there. Sport Bronze Nitrous, that's a preference for me. Elite Platinum road suspension. It's a long track. You definitely want to have the road suspension in there. Silver Pro brakes. And Elite Platinum grip tires. I'm gripping and ripping. I'm sure that there's going to be some drifters out there, so you guys figure it out for yourselves. The drift tires fit pretty easy, and then you can just slide the slider to drift and add a little more power. Sport Bronze clutch. If you are running automatic, you might try a different build with this one, and then maybe try to give yourself a little more clutch action. But for me, I'm running Sport Bronze. And then I'm running the 7-speed Super Gold transmission. Gives you the most top speed, makes it all work. Elite Platinum diff, and then auxiliary nitrous drift, nitrous grip. That's how I run it. I'm going to come back to the transmission and show you some of the other motors in a second. Now for the handling, 100% full Beyonce. We're gripping and ripping this week. At least I am for sure. Steering sensitivity, I run 2 clicks high. That's me. You guys do you. Downforce all the way high. That's where I think this car is going to need it this week. You can run a couple different spots in there. So there's a 269, and then those 2 spots are 269. So just go with what you feel, but I think the higher end is probably going to be what we want. Traction control is off. Drift entry is brake tap. That's going to be the Porsche 911 Carrera GTS. 2018 model. It's the hard top. Top speed 174, it'll definitely do it. 616 on the horsepower and 831 on the torque. Now let me show you what I was talking about with those transmissions. If you go down to a 5-speed on this one, top speed's 126. We are full cheese build. You can slam a ton of power into this, but the top speed only gets up to about 146. That's not enough for Colossus. You'll really get walked in the straightaways, so that's why this engine's kind of unique. But if you do put the 5-speed in, now we're looking at the other engines. That one, 269, does 178, but way less horsepower and torque. Same deal, a little more horsepower, way less torque, top speed 169. There it is, 174, but way less horsepower and torque. So that's why these last 2 engines, or the first 2, excuse me, they've got higher top speeds. You're pushing 181 and 184. So if you find yourself in the straightaway craving a little more, you might come over, you try the V12, you might try the inline 6. I would say if you're going to run either of them, I would do probably the V12. It's got a little more power in it, and it has the highest top speed. But really, at the end of the day, you guys, this engine is far and away the best, but you have to put a higher tier tranny in it. So be aware of that. It's just kind of where we're living this week. So, to sum up Copium this week, run the Porsche 911 Carrera GTS 2018 model, the hardtop, on Colossus. Get a screenshot with your name, the car, and your time, and submit that to me. You get that at the end of the race. You can submit that time to me via Discord or via email, alexcornnut@gmail.com. Once you get that screenshot sent to me, I will get your time submitted, and we will get you in the results at the end of the week. That's all it takes. You don't have to ever have played with us before. You can play with us right now. We'd love to have you. We are ramping up, getting ready for the Copium tournament, and I want to see everybody there. We're going to be doing teams of 3, teams of 4 if you want to have an alternate on your team. We're going to have real money prizes for a prize pool. Shooting to have $500 for that prize pool, and we're raising money for an orphanage. So honestly, it's going to be a really, really cool thing for us to do. And the Cornnut crew, we out here, we are global, and we're going to start pooling our energy towards doing some good in the world. So come and be a part of that. Come and get plugged into the Discord, and let's have a blast this week on Colossus. You guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you on the track. Bye-bye.